Felix? My chair. Felix? Hey, dude. Hey, you furry guy. That's my chair. Yes. Yes. Hit bricks. Get up. Get my chair. Hit bricks. Frozen kitty doesn't work. You little rat. Move over then. Sit over there. My chair. Oh, so now you're going to get mad and pout? Take off? Huh? Going to run away? Oh, let me take this cushion off. So, don't sit so high. You can. Anyway, I found out something yesterday afternoon that got my hackles up. When they talked to us about hospice, in our minds, they were just going to let him die naturally on his own and just keep him comfortable while that happened. But I found out that wasn't true. And I had a hand in it without knowing it. The day that Jim died, he died in my arms at 6:18 in the morning. And I hadn't slept for days because the one time I fell asleep, he fell off the bed and I heard him calling me real weak from the floor. So after that, if I slept, it was with one eye open or at all for, I'd say, about the whole 7 days from even before he came back. Felix? He's over there fighting a pigeon in the window. Here's funny little growl. Knock it off. Those are your friends. But anyway, when right after Jim died, and I lay down with his body and just laid there and hugged him until they knocked and came in to take him. And when they wrapped him, they took him out. I walked with him right beside him, holding the gurney. And when we were going through the building, everybody that saw it knew Jim passed because of me. And everybody started crying. Jim was loved. He was such a good man. But after the cancer, when we agreed to hospice, when he came home, he was not bad. I mean, his oxygen level was staying up. He was doing 2 nebulizer treatments a day, and that was keeping him stable. And he could eat. I was feeding him protein, feeding him things to make him healthy through that PEC tube. And then here come, they did the scan and they found that other cancer and they put him in the hospital, and he came out, and here come hospice. And he was still looked good, but he was kind of weaker. But then they started having me give him this Lorazepam at night because he was waking up with nightmares, and he was afraid, he was getting afraid. So I started giving them the Lorazepam, like they said, and the oxycodone. Now, he never liked the pain medication, so all through this, he kept his, so he could take 1 oxycodone 5 milligram about every 3 hours, and he was okay. And then pretty soon, they're upping him to 2 every 3 hours, and then 3 every hour and a half. And the same thing with Lorazepam. And the more Lorazepam it helped him when he'd start wheezing and you could hear all that fluid gurgling in his lungs. So when I gave him the Lorazepam and the pain medication, he would calm down and he would lay there and he'd breathe okay. Now I really believe that the Lorazepam was helping him. But when I had that breakdown after he died and they took him away, I sat here. You can't imagine the pain and the loss and looking around in the department. Everything is, I see my Jim and he's gone. So anyway, they took me to the emergency room because I called my doctor, and I was still sitting here and the rolls, everything. I felt like it hurt to breathe. My whole chest hurt. And I wanted to kill myself. I seriously thought about killing myself. But then I remember I made a promise to Jim that I wouldn't. I said, Jim, I'm going to come with you. And he said, no, you're not. Don't you do it. He said, I'm telling you, do not come with me. You stay and you get back into doing your artwork. You teach. Teach what you know to people. Don't take it with you. He said, please promise me. So I did. So I wasn't going to kill myself, but I couldn't stand how I felt. So they took me to the hospital. My blood pressure was pretty high. And I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And they gave me a big dose of Lorazepam. Knocked me out. I slept all night, and I woke up, and Alex Dragon, she who dances with thunder, I named her that. That's my daughter, and I'm proud of her. She's the only one that showed up. I called everybody, trying to beg people to come and sit with me because I knew Jim was going, and she's the only one that showed up. And she was here with me when he died. I would have went crazy if I was alone. So I let her leave after they took his body because I thought, okay, I'm going to try to sleep. And I came back in this apartment and I went nuts. First of all, I had to stop myself from chasing that van down the street when they loaded his body. When they let me hug his body to the body bag for the last time and say goodbye. And then they closed it and they drove off. And I'm standing there. And my heart is saying, no, Jim, don't go, don't leave me. Don't leave me, Jim. And I wanted to chase him down the road and say, no, you can't. Because Jim was all I had. I have a family, but they don't give a shit about me. And the only ones that do is my Aunt Camellia High Pine, and Carmel Nose is gone, and Misha, she was almost a High Pine. But they came the other day to see me, just to spend the day with me. That's the only family. So I'm sitting here all alone like I was before. But now I can't hear Jim come in the door from working and say, I'm home, it's me. My world. I'm barely trying to get by right now. But I'm keeping my promise to Jim. And right now I'm hurting, but I'm a strong-ass woman. I was an iron worker. I was held hostage by a crip. I mean, I was on the streets here in Seattle. I was on the streets in Phoenix, Arizona, in the most dangerous area in town. And I fought Joe Arpaio's boys by myself. In 2001, when they had the World Series there, I protested against the way the police were treating the homeless people. And I got a new shelter built, one that was catered to the homeless people, where they could put their shopping carts there in a gated area with a live security guard. This person that saw the police interview me, it touched her so much that she bought a warehouse and built it and listened to me and customized it for the homeless people. But that was when I had to get out of there, because by then, once you get on that spotlight, I knew them cops were going to come and get me, because that's why none of the other homeless people showed up said anything, because the police, you disappeared. I bet you if a tree was planted, every place is a body out there in that desert, that place would be a forest. And not just from the police, but from everything. But I made it, and I lived, and I was going back. I was going to Portland, Oregon. I was going to get back into my art. And there was a guy that was there in the homeless area in Phoenix. I wouldn't have nothing to do with him. I could feel it. You know, he just got out of prison the 15th time for armed robbery, and he was a crip. He got on the same bus and was going to Long Beach. So when I got off in Long Beach for the layover, I don't smoke, but I went and I got a soda and I went outside to look at Long Beach. You know, never been in Long Beach. And all of a sudden the car pulls up, and boom, I'm gone. But they couldn't break me. I was beat every day, stabbed, cut my throat. If you look at the side of my throat up here, yeah, box cutter, but I wouldn't give in. They couldn't break me. So I ran away. I got away from him in Long Beach. Chased me to Portland and found me. I ran away to Seattle. He found me here. But he got caught by the police trying to rob a store. So I was free. But while he was in jail, he sold me. And I had no idea. I didn't know anything. I was in the homeless area around DESC. And all of a sudden, these black guys, you know, they're all pimped out. You know, they got bling bling up the ass. So I know what they are. They come up and they say, "Pocahontas, you gotta come talk to us," because that was the street name I got stuck with. I hated it, but I was really thin and I had long hair and I was dark from the sun. So Pocahontas. So anyway, these guys come and they get me. Make me go with them, and they said that they own me now because the crip that was in jail sold me to them because he owed a big debt. So they tried to do the same thing. They beat me. They had a gun in my head, I don't know how many times. And I said, do it, set me free, shoot me. So they would back down, and finally they said, you're gonna sell dope. And they give me an amount, and I had to have that. By the time they come to get me, or I got my ass kicked bad. I got raped all the time, but I would not prostitute for them. But then I got caught. It was a blessing to jump out, man. They got me, and I went to jail. So these guys let me go. They didn't bother me anymore because they were afraid I would tell on them now. But from then on, I was on the street out here alone. I mean, alone. And then I met people here new people here in Jefferson Terrace. It's a big high-rise next to Harborview. So I came up with this one girl, and I met this guy, and he was diabetic. And she was going to try to cut his toenails. And I told him, no, that's not how you do it. You got to be really careful. You can't cause any wounds and stuff. And he asked me if I knew how. And when I was in Minneapolis, after I quit ironwork, I was taking care of a native guy that was a paraplegic. And he was diabetic. So they trained me how to cut or how to do pedicures on diabetics. So he would hire me to come up once a month, $20, to do a pedicure on him. And then I met somebody else that would hire me to come in and clean their house, because I didn't steal, and I wasn't like coming in and looking around, what could I take? I did the job that they wanted me to, and I treated them with respect, because that's the person I am. So I had people all over here. And then this girl that was living here at Jim's, I hadn't met Jim yet, but he was one of the places where all the crack dealers and everybody hung out, took advantage of it. But I didn't know that then. But this big girl named Jeannie, she was crying and desperate and needed $20. And I don't loan money to people, because if I loan it to them, they better pay it back when they say. And everybody that knows me knows I will come after you. So I lent her the 20, and she said the next day at that certain time she'd show up. I was at her door, and that was Jim's door. So I knocked on the door, not hard. I was coming in respect first. I didn't come to do anything bad. I came for my money. And whatever I had to do, I would take her TV. I would take something from her, because she gave me her word. But when I knocked on the door and Jim answered, and I looked into the most saddest eyes I've ever seen in my life. And I said, is Jeannie here? And he said, yeah, and just kind of pushed the door open and walked in here real slow with his head down to a chair. In fact, this very chair he was sitting in with a big old, the biggest cat I ever seen, a dark gray tabby, Ricky, and he was sitting right here, and he was watching. In fact, the chair was here, and there was an old console TV there that only had half a picture. The top half was cut off, but you could see the feet. But Jim's sitting there watching it, and he was so pitiful. And I look over in the other end of the room where my bed is now, and there's a sofa there, and there's about 10 people over there, all smoking, and it's smoky, and they're all hitting their crack pipes and shit. And then he asked me, he said, do you have a cigarette? And I said, no, sorry, I don't smoke. And he said, I had a pack. I set it here, but I don't know where it went. So I went over and I looked around and I asked him what kind. And I seen it. And I went over and I picked it up. And I said, hey, that's mine. And I said, no, it isn't. And you know it ain't. You guys are fucked up in this man's house, and you come over and steal his cigarettes too? Man, you guys are fucked up. I said, where's Jeannie? Anyway, I came over and I gave Jim his cigarettes, and I said, put them in your pocket. I said, don't let nobody take them. And if they do, you tell me. Because I was crazy. And I was in all these dangerous areas. Phoenix, I was in this area in Los Angeles. I mean, nothing here scares me. Look, I stood up to a crip every day, and he hit me, I hit him right back. I fought toe to toe. And when he used a weapon on me, he threw me down. He had scissors holding over my heart. And he said, you shut up and you're going to do, or I'm going to kill you. And I said, kill me. And I grabbed his hands and I started trying to make him thrust it, and he's fighting me. And I said, kill me. Set me free. You know, because this was already after my 8th suicide attempt. There was nothing in this world for me. And I wasn't fearful. I was an iron worker. I mean, I dealt high stakes blackjack at Mystic Lake Casino in Minneapolis. I designed the uniforms for their next casino. I designed uniforms for another casino. I mean, I had art, the tourist gallery, Watso, Sammy Watso at that time. He uses Watso now. He promoted me. I mean, I could have went anywhere I wanted. I started 2 businesses. The first one, my partner was ripping me off. But I was designing ribbon shirts for Native American entertainers, Rodney Grant, Grant Green. You know, people like that have my shirts. But I walked away because I couldn't stand how phony people were, how petty. When I had big parties, I used to, you know, get catered parties, you know, natives, and we'd have blackjack tables set up. I mean, I threw parties, and when I did, everybody came. And I had a duplex that I was buying. My one on the bottom was a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom on top. That was for Section 8. So that was already paid for. I had everything I wanted. I mean, I had all the toys, TVs, I had everything. But I had no one. I had no family. I had people that I just let hang around my place just so it wouldn't be empty. And finally, I said, no more, I'm going to go find my family. I gave up everything, gave everything away, and left Minneapolis to find my family. And I did. Well, I was on a roller coaster ride from then on when I didn't understand street language when these 2 Indian girls that I had been at a few parties with pulled up during a heat wave in 1999 in Salem, Oregon. And they asked me if I wanted to go swimming. And it was a boat ramp. So I said, yeah. But they said, we got to go shopping first. Do you want to come shopping with us? And I said, no, that's all right. And they said, well, you can wait out. And, you know, it was one of those Bronco or something where the 2 front seats flipped up towards the dash. So I said, yeah, I'll go. But no, I don't want to go shopping. Next thing I know, we're in a high-speed chase in Corvallis, Oregon, because I did not know shopping was street slang for running in someplace and grabbing armloads out and running out and taking off. Police followed us. We got arrested. I got arrested. But that chief of police, he said, we are going to punish you to the furthest extent of the law and further, because we do not allow people like you to come into our town and break our laws. And I said, excuse me, sir, can you tell me what kind of people we are so we can tell other people like us not to come here? Is it because we all have brown hair? Or because we come from Salem? Or the only other thing is, and he said, shut up. And he went walking off, and he left us there in the sun for 3 hours. And here come a cruiser pulling up, and a native cop gets out, and he comes over, and chief of police puts his arm around him and says, see, we have one of you on our force. And that cop treated us like shit, cussed us out and everything. And I tried to tell him I wasn't a part of it, and that one of the store clerks they were having a sidewalk sale knew I wasn't, because she came over and talked to me. I said, so I had a witness, but I wouldn't do it. And in there, because I wouldn't accept any plea or nothing. They tried everything. So what they did was they said they're going to have to go to the other girls, and they're going to get me on conspiracy if they can't get me on the actual, act. So they went to the one girl, and she's already in prison, and they said, and she said no, she didn't know what was going on. So my attorney went to the other girl's attorney that was left and told him that they had talked to me about going state's evidence. They didn't bother to tell her that I turned it down and said, hell no. I have nothing to tell. I didn't know anything. I wasn't a part of it. But they didn't want me in court because I was going to bring up what the chief of police said. I wasn't letting it go. So they had to get me. So they went to the other girl, and she went state's evidence against me. So they sentenced me to 2 years in prison. But I took off. I went to Mexico, Arizona, all over for something I didn't do. So that ruined my life. That chief of police said, we don't let people like you come into our towns and break laws. So I know what it's like to get set up by the fucking pigs. And I say pigs because I only met 2 good ones in my life. And one is that here in the building, Officer Don and Officer Hope. He was the one that arrested me for that delivery. But all of this has ruined my life. I mean, you can't get a job. You can't get a place to live. And everybody wants to build all these houses for homeless people. If you want to help them, stop these landlords from making them pay application fee, rental history, criminal check, and you have to pay a fee on each one. And they have no intention of renting to you. They say no discrimination. Oh, fucking shit. And I'm sorry for my language, but that's the truth. Now, I know everything about this, and I am street smart like you wouldn't believe. And I will stand up and I'll fight anybody to the toe. But I met Jim. He was a gentle little man. And I got these people out of here. Jeannie, all those people that were in the living room when I met him, I went in the bathroom and here's Jeannie, a little black man that was bald, that looked like 2 bowling balls stuck together, and this other white girl whose tits were so big they were hanging down her knees. And they're all having a threesome. I said, Jeannie, give my money now. And she said, I don't have it. I said, give me my goddamn money. And that guy said, if you come in, I'll pay it. And I said, fuck all of you. And I said, Jeannie, I'm coming back. And I walked out. And I left, and then I come back. And I was ready to go down with Jeannie. I said, Jeannie, you got my money? She said, no, nobody. Here, I got 10. I got 10, I promise. I'll have the other one tomorrow. I said, no. So I took her purse and that $10, and I left. I said, when you come up with the other 10, you come get your purse. And I didn't touch nothing in it, but she come with the other 10. And I got to see Jim, and I started talking to him, and he was so smart, and he thought so little of himself. I was going to cook him breakfast, and I said, how do you like your eggs? Oh, the easiest way that there is for you. I don't want to cause you a problem. Well, he was like that with everything. But I stayed with him. I cleaned his house. This place was so bad, roaches were falling from the ceiling on you. I cleaned it out. He was a hoarder. He was so sad. He was just wanted to sleep. He was addicted to anything that would put him to sleep. He said because his dreams were better than his life. So I came and I started staying with him, and I got rid of the roaches. The management couldn't believe it. This apartment was 100% roach-free because I went every box, every nook and cranny with hot water and soap, and I scrubbed it out all around this house, every box. And the stuff he wanted to keep, I cleaned it and scrubbed it and put it in a plastic bag and sealed it closed. I mean, I got rid of the roaches. So because of my record, the management, they were turning me down when Jim put in an application for me to share his unit. But after they came and they saw the unit, they put me right on because this place was clean. When I first met him, they were coming in, they tried to evict him twice because of how dirty his house was. Well, I changed all of that. every day we went through different stuff, but we got to a place where we were a complete couple. He was everything I never got in my whole life. He softened my heart. Because when you're out on the street and you're out there and you have to hustle for everything, you don't get nothing. You don't get to sit and sleep somewhere. You got to get up and go get your food. Got to worry if the police are going to come and get you. I wasn't afraid of the other street people because they knew me. I was nuts. I would fight on anybody, and I did fight. But that makes you hard in your heart. But Jim changed all of that. And now I'm sitting here in his home, which became our home, and every possession in here was mine and Jim's. So I'm sorry. He only left me Friday morning, and we were together for more than 10 years, and we became so close when he got sick. But there's people here, and there's people all over that have shown me that they love me even if they don't get anything in return, or I've gotten donations. I'm getting close. Anything, $1, $5, anything is appreciated. But he's going to go. He's going to have his cremation. He's going to go a warrior. He's going to go happy. Because he got what he wanted. For the first time in his life, he felt like he was special. When Kyle gave him the moccasins, oh God, you should have seen the glow in his eyes because they were made especially for him. Jim was a good heart, and he deserved more. He was from Wyoming Prairie, back right after the Depression. 6 years old, he was playing with the knife and stabbed his eye. He's had a prosthetic eye all his life, but he overcame it. He overcame everything. But he was so lonely. But when he found me, he became so devoted to me. He would try to do things to do without to give to me, and I would tell him, don't you ever do that to me. We are a couple. We are even. Do not make me start like I'm taking more or anything, because that's not the way it is. So we changed what we got. So today I'm a little bit better. But I'm so mad at myself because I helped him die sooner. Now maybe that was a good thing, but he went so fast after hospice, a week. And it was because of this. Look, Lorazepam. And now the doctors gave it to me. The only reason I know what it does is my primary care, she does care about me. She told me that she didn't want to give me any more Lorazepam because they gave it to me at the ER. Because after about a week on it, it starts messing up with your breathing. It starts slowing your breathing down, and you need to stay at the lowest dose, because the more you do, the slower. And they had me giving him big old droppers full every hour and a half. I helped kill my husband, and this pisses me off. So they called me and they tried to ask me, well, we're glad, and I told him, you son of a bitch, you do not want to hear what I told him. But you know what? I'm a fighter. This isn't getting me down. I'm going to do what Jim said. I'm going to get into my art. And I can't do it. My hands I'm losing control of my hands. So I have been asking everywhere, to anybody that wants to learn. I can do everything. I went to the Institute of American Indian Arts, and I didn't even complete a quarter or not a semester, because I knew more than my instructor on beadwork, quill work, everything that my grandma taught me. I have stuff to pass on like you wouldn't believe. I dry meat, I dry corn, I do everything. Now I'm asking, and I've been looking for somebody that wants to learn this and be my hands, and I will give them my gift. And I'll tell you, if you see me, my gift is great. My grandfather was Godfrey Brokenroad, minister artist. My brother was Alden Archambault. My whole family's artists, every one of them. So it's in my blood. But it's not just, I can teach, I can share, I don't need to take this with me. So that's my plan. And I don't know everybody that donated, because my daughter Alec is controlling it, and I trust her. With all my heart, I trust her. So she is taking the donations in, and she will tell me the names of when she gets a chance. But I haven't been, after I kind of blew up because nobody was donating, and I know people are, but I don't want to be sitting there like counting it like at a Jerry Lewis telethon. Whatever everybody gives at that time, whatever we have is greatly, greatly appreciated. My heart, karma, I've been praying for triple karma to come back to anybody that helps right now, because I don't ask for help, but when I do, it's because I need it. Now I will put in the comments the PayPal account again, and $1, $2, anything. I'm almost there. And even if you can't, I appreciate and love all of you. Kalamaya, Witakoyasin, my relatives.